Audio one, audio two. Yes, yes.
One, two, one, two. One, two. How can I hear that? Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Chill and Spill. Apologies just for a few minutes ago when we was live and I didn't even realize I was live. You just saw us there shuffling about. Welcome to, is it the 35th episode? 35th episode of Chill and Spill. How is everybody doing? Are you loving the panel right now? Look at my wonderful panel tonight. We have to my right the timekeeper. Oh yes, and to my left we have Zuz.
Good evening, good evening.
Oh yes. Well, a lot of you did see the flyer before the show, and I'm sure you're all excited to get involved in the hot topic. But yeah, how is everybody doing? You know, each and every week, for those that have, for the first timers, I'm Nubian. I am Nubian. I am your host for Chill and Spill. You can catch us here on this platform, on all platforms, every Sunday, 9 o'clock GMT, where we talk about all types of great, great hot topics, topics that you probably wouldn't want to talk about otherwise. But this is the platform to air your views. Oh, yeah, it's fire. Every Sunday, it's fire, for sure. And if you haven't shared, I would like you to share, like, share, follow all platforms, please. That's all you have to do. You don't have to pay or anything like that. It's free of charge. I mean, there's not much things free these days. Nothing's free. No, yeah, you have to pay for everything. So when there's an opportunity for freeness, I feel like you should jump at that opportunity. Oh yeah. Well, every week we talk about how everyone's week's been and how everyone's doing. I hope everybody's doing good. Let me talk about my week. My week, last Sunday, something was fighting me. Something was trying to come for me. Sickness, change of season was trying to come for me. And I'm telling you, you see the Monday, I was bedridden. Monday and Tuesday, really, really ill, but I had to fight it off. It was only 2 days. We can work with 2 days. That's enough for me. 2 days, that's it. Yep, we have to fight it. Yep, bring all the battles. Everything's coming out. Ginger, honey, it's all coming out. But I'm good. I'm good this Sunday. No sickness. So that's good. So other than that, I'm giving thanks. How about the timekeeper? How was your week this week?
Well, my week's been quite good actually. It's been calm. Had a nice show on Friday. Today's Sunday, innit? Got to keep track of things, innit? Cool, then, Bennett. But no, my week's been really good. I've been stress-free, sick-free.
Oh, wonderful.
Trust me, I don't. You're talking about that cold trying to grab you.
Yeah.
When the weather change, I make sure I stay inside. I wrap up warm. I put on the heating. I know the electricity bill them and the gas bill them is high. But let me tell you, it's better to be warm inside. You understand? Even if you throw on 2 pairs of socks and things, trust me. No watch no face. Don't be afraid about keeping warm, because when you catch that cold, and maybe it's me, I don't recover as quickly as I used to recover.
Yeah, I understand.
Do you understand?
For sure.
Yes,
Even
absolutely.
raving, I don't. Listen, I used to rave all 3, 4, 5 nights in a row. Now I rave one night, and listen, it's all a week later before I recover.
1 week later,
A whole week later, listen, I put the front on like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine. But no, other than that, it's been really good. Been working with my partner, the A-lister. Trying to do a little bit of promotion work there for our dance in November.
Oh, great.
But other than that, yeah, I've been really good. And I got the wonderful invite to come on this marvelous show to give my opinion. And I'm happy. And I'm really blessed. And I think I'm going to actually enjoy myself. The vibe inside the studio is good. So, yeah, let me crack on.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. How about users? How are you doing?
My week, I feel like last week and the week before, I said my week has been challenging. I feel like the end is coming to maybe the end of the course of the challenge. The weekend has been great. And I feel like I said that last week as well, to be fair. The week was challenging, but the weekend was great. But yeah, overall, you know what? Always forever blessed. Happy to be on the show as usual. Happy to be alive, well and kicking.
Oh, yes.
And to entertain y'all. So I'm here, guys.
Fantastic. Let's see who's online. Good evening, Barbara. Welcome to Chill and Spill. How are you doing? Oh, yes. Wonderful panel, Barbara says. Thank you very much,
Thank
Barbara.
you.
Good evening, Christine. Good evening. Welcome to Chill and Spill. How are you doing, my love? Everybody good? So I'm sure if you haven't seen the flyer already, I'm sure you're all wondering what the hot topic is tonight.
I'll wait for it every week in anticipation.
Well, I was wondering because you said you weren't feeling well. I was wondering if you're going to get it out.
Last week was a struggle, I'm telling you. Well, the topic today is about gender change in children. Okay, so this topic has been on the list for a minute now, and I'm just like, okay, it's a very sticky topic. Because, for those that have children, especially the younger children that still attend school, what they wanted to do, the teachers, is to teach children about changing genders, making it seem like it's okay to change your gender. And apparently children from as young as 2 years old know whether they want to be a boy or a girl. Now,
That was a deep sigh from me.
I don't know how much deeper that side could have gone.
Literally, it was a deep sigh because I'm just like, Look, I have no judgment. But when it comes to the children, I feel like we need to let children be children. I feel like we're putting too much pressure onto children. Let them play, let them laugh, have fun, explore, get to know themselves. I feel
Yes.
as a 2-year-old, do you really know yourself? I don't think you do. I think you're just living, breathing, eating, and you're being taken care of, if you're fortunate enough, by your parents.
Some 2-year-olds are still getting their bottom changed.
Exactly.
Talk the thing.
Exactly.
You know.
You know, some 2-year-olds are not potty trained.
Exactly.
You know, they can't say, "Oh, mum, just going to the toilet."
Most less know
Exactly.
what gender they want to be.
Exactly. It's too much pressure. It's too much
And
pressure.
some 2-year-olds don't, they can't even speak, a lot of them.
And this is the thing. And for me, it's about, I'm going to let everybody know from the get-go. I'm probably the world's biggest conspiracy theorist. Okay? And I'm going to blame something on one piece of conspiracy at all times. But I'll always try to justify what I'm saying as well. So with regards to the 2-year-olds and this whole view of at what age do you identify as what gender you identify as? Personally, I think the same age that you are able to acquire alcohol, have sex, or at least have the point where you're able to make a decision because you understand the decision you are making and the implications of that. If you don't do that, how can you say that someone who doesn't understand the choice they're making and you're going to follow it?
Exactly.
Exactly.
For example, I want to be an astronaut today. Tomorrow I'm a firefighter. So do you make that choice and follow that choice? Or do you let them have their imagination, let it play? Yes, if you want to put on makeup, if you want to put on high heels, you want to put on a dress, you're a child. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's like dress up, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. It's about creating that imagination that allows you to do what you want until the pressures of society and life actually come on.
Exactly. Good evening, Faye. Welcome to Chill and Spill.
Hi.
Good evening, Nad. Welcome to Chill and Spill.
Welcome, welcome.
What are you guys' views? What are your views on tonight's hot topic? Good evening, Capreem. How are you? And welcome to Chill and Spill. Capreem says, I identify as a cat today.
Meow.
Oh dear. No, sir.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
Wow.
serious.
It's definitely
This is
serious.
serious.
No, because they're just taking it to another level. You know what I mean? Apparently, just last month, 25th of September, they've said that they won't teach it in schools because that was a thing. They've said they're not going to teach it in school because they wanted to make it law.
Which I feel like it's taking it a step too far. It's like if you do make it law, what about the laws that have been implemented to protect women ourselves, to be able to have our own safe spaces,
Exactly.
services, sports,
Yeah.
all the things that women feel comfortable in doing, not necessarily having men around. Nowadays you've got gender fluid toilets. Both men and women can use the same bathroom. Obviously, technically, if it's your family household, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's a stranger, if it's someone that's very religious, whether you're Christian, Muslim, or you're Jewish, or
Yeah.
and there's certain things that you believe in your religion that you do not want to do. Now you're making it. You're giving me no choice, whereas before I had a choice.
Exactly.
And you're not actually respecting my beliefs now and my views and how I want to live because of something that's affecting you. It's technically a you problem. Do you get what I mean?
Exactly.
And that actually plays in with something that I actually say myself. And we were talking about it earlier on with regards to you being you shouldn't affect me being me.
That's right.
Your choices shouldn't override my choices, my viewpoints. It's about respecting each other's viewpoints, and maybe that's what they more need to be teaching in school.
That's
It's
it.
about a respect level, as opposed to one is more dominant than the other. If, as you said, Sue, it's your issue. It's a you issue. It's your choice.
That's
It
it.
shouldn't affect me.
Exactly. I don't see why. I mean, literally just the thought of someone teaching a child about gender at as young as 2, 5, 6, 7, to me is putting a heavy load on that child. It's putting a huge responsibility
like to
on
say,
that child.
Do I have to? If it wasn't on their mind before, you've now planted a seed.
Exactly. Exactly.
You've planted a seed in that child's mind. Now they think to themselves, "Oh, so I can change gender. I didn't even know that I could do that." Why? If the parents don't want to teach their children that from home, I don't see why any other adult should have the power to do so. You know, there's so much things that they could teach in school, like finances, how to manage your finances, and how to
Life skills.
life skills. Exactly.
Like cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? I mean, does
There's
anyone
so
cook
much
anymore?
more things that you can teach.
saying?
Yeah. Bathing your skin.
Hygiene.
Hygiene. Yeah. There's so much things that you can teach the children.
Even meditation, understanding oneself.
That's it.
Yoga, whatever. Obviously, sports are still taught in schools. Continue on with that, but there's so much other things. As a world, we have evolved, and there's so much other things that I feel like is a bit more important to teach a child at a certain age. I feel like when it comes to gender, let them be an adult first. Do you get what I mean? I mean, look at Dwayne Wade's
Dwayne Wade's
daughter now.
Mm.
You know, he was a he before, but now he wants to be a she, and that's his prerogative. But I feel like to do a full sex change or to fully change your gender, they should have waited till he was 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could easily change his mind.
Exactly. And then
Or her
what?
mind.
It's too late. Because they've had the full change. Everything's changed. Every body part. The body part that you need the most
It's different.
is now different. So what if you decide when you're 21 now, oh, you know what? I don't like this life. I want to go back to how I was.
What then?
What then?
See, and there are some safeguards, and I was actually doing a little bit of research on bits and bobs, in the sense that in the UK anyway, I think you have to, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a 2-year period where you have to exist as your preferred gender before you get certified to be able to take that change on. And I think something like that, I think it's ideal because you could be going through something that may lead you down a certain path.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mindset changes, your circumstances change that now may, as you say, once you do certain things, there's no going back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where
Exactly.
the problem is.
Exactly.
What's Capreme saying?
Capreme says children are very impressionable, which is expected. They are children that brains are still forming. It's absolutely disgraceful what's happening these days with the poor children. And she's Capreme, you're absolutely right. Children are very impressionable. Very, very impressionable. And it's difficult to be able to put all that pressure onto that child about what they should be and what they shouldn't be, and about sex, about gender, anything like that. I feel like it's too much for and the child is not being able to be a child. And I feel like once you start exerting that type of responsibility on a child, my thought is, and I agree with what Dr. Umar said, is that if a child is old enough to say they want to be transgender, before you know it, if an adult wants to now have sexual relations with that child, all that's going to happen if you was to go to court, they're going to say, well, the child was old enough to decide that they wanted to change their gender. So that means they must be old enough to give consent, to give sexual consent to an adult. And I feel like people are not actually realizing what doors are opening when they're giving these children these kinds of responsibilities.
I actually disagree. I think the government do know. And the reason why I think they do know is, in my opinion, there's been quite a dramatic shift, I think, in children having more rights. And I think a lot of this is a knee-jerk reactions to certain failings that the government, that happened under recent government with regards to child scandals in all areas of the country and around the world. But in the UK, the knee-jerk reaction to things going wrong is to go so far in the opposite direction that they're covering themselves by putting things in place that it wasn't meat culture. So where you now say a child identifies it, you can't say I didn't listen to the child. And furthermore, I also think, as I said, disclaimer, conspiracy.
Oh dear.
Oh gosh. I think where a certain age group of people are established in their thinking and their mindset, I think they are now attacking our children.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a term I like to use is where they can't affect the root, they are going for the seed.
Yes. Yes.
And where they are now making the seed moldable and they're conditioning them to their way of thinking. So as they now become older, the government are more able to influence.
Yes.
And it's the government's influence which is stronger than the parental influence, which is wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The parent a parent should be able to direct their child's thoughts in line with their own cultures. I understand if a parent is leading a child down a hate culture. I understand the intercept, but I think the ultimate control should be with that parent, and then the child needs to have an understanding through schooling, actual education, not indoctrination. Do you understand? Please identify, not through education, not indoctrination, not how they are shaping the children's minds right now to make them easily moldable. That's my opinion. And I think the government sees it as an easier path to controlling people if you break down the bonds that are pre-existing with parents and culture and legacy. And this is where them trying to say we need to have a melting pot, I understand that and accept everything, but I think parents need to take more control of the situation that's going on right now.
For sure. Faye says, in my opinion, children cannot make a decision like that at a young age. If the child feels that they were born in the wrong body, then they can make the change for themselves at 21 to 25 years. Well, yeah, I believe so. I feel like, just live a little first.
Yeah.
Before you think to yourself, you know what, this is very expensive to do. It's such a dramatic thing to do as well, and it's drastic. So, mentally, you can go through a lot going through that. Christine, what did Christine say?
Christine says, not going to mention the school, but there is a little boy of 8 who comes to school dressed in dresses. He gets teased. The mother has been told, but says it is his entitlement to be who he wants to be.
I understand that, but if they're being teased, how is he going to cope with that mentally? It's a lot. It's a lot, because going to school genuinely is hard work.
Yeah, definitely.
Bullying, teasing, just for being who you are.
Yeah.
Most less, putting on a dress. I'm not saying that, fair enough. If he wants to do that at home, maybe he could do it at home.
Yeah.
Not at school.
Yeah, I feel like, in that sense, protect that child a little bit more. Do you get what I mean? You're not saying that he can't wear the dresses. Just protect him from the world a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sense of the abuse you can get in the world. the like you said, the bullying, the comments, the negativity that you can
That you face
endure
when you go to school.
when you go to school.
Yeah.
I feel like in that sense, they should speak to him and say, you know what, son, you
Daughter.
can be daughter, you can be whoever you want to be. But right now, let's just stick to having the dresses at home and wearing school uniform when you go to school.
And you see, for me, I can already see certain people's objections to that way of thinking. Only because, again, I'm a conspiracy theorist. So, but I think what they're trying to say is that a child shouldn't have to be teased. And I understand that, but they should also understand children are children.
That's it.
I went to a school where you could have worn two types of shirt. You could have either worn a white shirt or a grey shirt. Listen, don't come in a grey shirt, you know. Is that the same shirt you did wear yesterday? You're not wearing the white.
No, sir.
I'm just saying.
And that's just the colour of the shirt.
And that's just the colour of the shirt. So knowing how children are, I think it's kind of, the protection, yes. And they need to make sure that everyone is accepting. But I don't think it's a matter of indulge in certain things. As you say, if you put a child in a room and say, you see that red button? Don't touch it. And you leave the room.
Everybody's touching that red button.
Everybody
Yep.
is touching that red button. You
Yeah,
are opening a door that you may not be able to close.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And Christine also said it's also confusing for the other kids in the school. It should not be allowed in the schools. And I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, Christine, to be honest, because it's just too much to take in. It's confusing for the other children, like you said. You know, boys are wearing boy clothes. You know, what I'm trying to figure out is when did everything just change? It has changed drastically.
Very, very drastic. Because I thought uniform was meant, like, I feel like the main purpose of the uniform was not just to represent the school, but to basically, you know, make children understand that you are no different from me.
Yeah,
Even
because
if
we're all
even if
wearing the
you've
same
got a
thing.
different skin color, even if you've got a different culture, you know, even if you've got a different way of living, we are all equal.
That's
we are
it.
all wearing the same uniform, so
That's
we are
it.
all equal. I am not above you, and you are not above me.
That's right.
We are all human beings. But
Exactly.
now, you know, not having uniform, I feel like it's important that they still need to wear the uniform.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying?
See, again, devil's advocate here. But if
Bring it
You know
on.
me, I'm original devil's advocate.
yeah,
so
bring it
now
on,
we've got
bring it
another
on.
devil's advocate. Whoop whoop.
And I'm in the middle.
there you
Whoop
go.
whoop.
But if the individual has to now say, well, I wish to wear the female uniform as opposed to the male uniform. You see where
Yeah.
uniform shouldn't really be the key
Yeah.
element to it.
Yeah, I get that.
Because
I get that.
And all I'm saying is how people will counter that statement.
Yes.
And I like to approach things. I say, well, how would you think? And then I say, okay, you know what? It's not irrespective of the uniform. There are things that, and to be honest, in Scotland they wear kilts. Some call them skirts, but it's actually a kilt. It's a cultural thing.
Yes,
It
yes.
doesn't, and I don't think what you wear bears as much relevance as, or any real relevance really. You could wear anything. You could come into school in a costume, but
Yeah.
you're still the same individual you were before.
Yeah.
But the mindset that they are now offering children, and it is an offer, and a lot of them are taking it up, is that you can be what you want. But I don't think they understand the implications of this later on.
Yes.
Because for me, I'm an old somebody. The grey hairs can tell you. I don't know if the camera's picking them up. Yeah. But I think there's been when you mentioned when did it start to switch, and I think there's been quite a, how would I put it? There's been quite a turn towards acceptance of everyone, and
Within the past, how long do you think?
I think it's been a lot longer than people actually would
Yeah.
like to think.
Yeah,
But it's just
yeah.
been
More
more
highlighted.
brought to light because of the social media that we are now open to.
Yeah.
the Mixcloud, the YouTube, the
Instagram, the TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
So everyone has a platform in which they can now express themselves and want to be accepted on
Yeah.
without the bias. So where the government, I think, with a lot of these views, both on children and on the social media side of it, they're trying to kind of wipe their hands of it.
Yeah.
So I now don't need to deal with a legal case down the line because I've told everyone to be accepting of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in making their life easier, what they're actually doing is making everyday life more challenging.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And what about World Book Day? When it's a day, like you said, dress up. You can dress up as any character you like. That's like a Joe Free card.
Yep.
Hey, let's the boys
I'm
want to.
going in as Princess Elsa.
Oh yes, everybody's Elsa. Boys, girls, everybody. If you don't know who Elsa is it a princess in Frozen?
Yes.
Yeah, Frozen is a Disney animation that all children, even adults, they love it. So
love to watch.
and love to watch it. So when it's World Book Day, you think to yourself, okay, what's going to happen here? And what character is my child going to want to dress up as? And if you notice, no child, especially the black children, will ever say, oh, they want to dress up as one of our black leaders.
Yeah.
It's always a character from... it's always a character from the animation or...
You serious?
You know, it's never... Or superhero or...
We are say.
a character in a book, which is nothing wrong with it, but nobody has said, I'm going to dress up as one of our black heroes.
Yeah.
But you know, you just opened up a door there. You know, you just opened the door there.
We've opened it because it's
You serious?
It's serious. 'Cause that same statement you just made there is because what is taught in school, what is taught about the black culture, they skirt around a lot of other cultures. So Asian, Oriental, all children. I've got my children in school right now, and they're learning about the individual celebrations for each culture, what they mean, why it is. Fair enough, because that's a level of acceptance. But do they really go in depth? But then the more broader questions, do you expect them to?
exactly no. No is the answer for me. I don't, because I've never experienced that myself. I know that that's just not going to happen. And even if I would like it to happen, I know that it's just not going to happen because I feel like the government have always tried to contain that in some sort of way and not make us feel liberated in certain aspects when it comes to learning about our history, learning about the good role models that we have, and so forth. Because they know it's
Caprim said,
empowering.
because black heroes are not taught in school. So why are they going to want to dress as one?
Exactly.
But what about the home?
Yeah. But there's where, as I said, the parents need to take the lead, even on that topic. We need to show. I make my children, you can read the school's book. Read this one as well.
Yeah.
About your own history.
Yes.
So that you understand where you came from, because they're not going to teach it. And as for many, I'm going to say this and it might hurt some people, this is England.
Oh dear.
Yeah?
We are say.
I don't mean to upset nobody, but this is England. This isn't a black country.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to offend nobody. Okay? My sisters were all born here. I have loads of friends who are here. I live here. My children live here. But in some respects, it's about understanding where you are. Because unless you understand where you are, you cannot move forward. So the expectations that some people have of what our children should be taught, yeah, in other countries, yes. In this one,
Not
no.
so much.
In America,
I would love to
no.
know. Yeah, I would love to know what country they teach about black heroes. That'd
But
be
it
very
has-
interesting.
And that's maybe something we need to look into, because
Yeah.
I'm Guyanese, and the Guyanese education system is still very much based on the colonial system. Okay, so again, where is our history being taught?
Exactly. What's the face saying?
Faye says that is too much pressure on the child, and mentally the child will not be able to withstand such torment and abuse. Next thing you know, the child commits suicide. The parents need to get a grip of what the media and government is pushing on our families. Divide and conquer.
Faye, you said it there.
Well said.
Divide and conquer.
Well said, Faye. I'm looking for the applause. You know, you're looking for the applause button, and your hope
think
is
it's this one.
your hope is the applause button. You know.
You chat too
You
much.
see, I'm not listening to Nubian again. I got it right the first time. You know, it's this one. You see it there? Oh my gosh! I knew it was the right one. You know, Nubian stirred me wrong, boy. Lord of-
Oh dear, I'm human, you know.
yeah, we all are.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Kapreem says, if you send your child to school as Martin Luther King Jr., automatically it would, what? It will be. I can't see that bit. Can you?
No, it's behind the
Behind
heart
a love
design.
heart. Can we work it
Oh.
out?
Let's see what is it. It will be.
Is that men black? It will be men black.
It will be meant black. We need to see that, Kapreem. We are
Kapreem.
checking.
We can't see. There's a
Kapreem.
love heart in front of it, and we can't see what it says.
We are.
Unfortunately.
We are checking right now. on
But
what
I
it
feel like
says.
if the child was to come dressed as Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, oh dear, I don't think the teachers would understand what's going on.
Oh, okay, I've got
Men
it.
in-
It will be
men
Men
in
in Black.
Oh yeah, Men in Black. That's what they're
It will be
thinking.
Men in
Will,
Black.
Will Smith.
Good evening, Serene. Good evening.
Welcome to Chill
you.
and Spill.
Welcome to Chill and Spill.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine?
And this is the thing. We really, as I said, the gender point very much plays for me into the whole education system, because they've been playing with our children for way too long. Every minute they're talking about, oh, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. You know what? Let's try this method. Oh, do you know what? The grades are getting too high, so let's make it harder. So at what point do you accept that maybe our children are smarter? At what point do you accept that maybe you might need to review the system? You might need to look at how systems how it's changed, and adapt the curriculum to be more inclusive. And I'm not just talking on a sexual orientation point of view.
So, can I ask a question to both of you? Do you think if a child is, let's just say, for example, a child's not getting the greatest grades, but their grades doesn't necessarily determine their intellect, do you feel like it's the education system failing them, and the fact that it hasn't changed why they're not as successful in their grades?
I would say no. I think, again, I'm a solutions person, and as a parent myself, does that child need extra classes? Maybe strengthen them. Maybe they need a little bit more confidence. Maybe they need a bit more focus. Maybe the child's just a joker.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
not paying attention in school. Not to just blame. I'm not one who's going to speak from a point of just blaming the system for everything, which I do. Yeah, I do all the time. I blame the system, and again, I won't go too deep, but I'll justify that it is, and what Faye said resonated with me, because it is a divide and conquer. Because if they continue to keep changing the system, keep changing the goalposts, for want of a better word, it keeps us distracted,
Yeah.
and we then no longer see, let's be honest, who the enemy really is.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the man sitting next to me, the man living next to me, the man on the bus or whatever else, because they're not making decisions that are impacting on my life.
Yes.
The government are.
Yeah.
And in keeping us divided, they keep us down.
Yes.
They
Yes.
keep us susceptible to their thinking. Because now, you have the different shades, you have the different cultures, you have the different religions, you now have the different orientations. And if people are so busy thinking about these individual elements, who's thinking about running the country and who you're voting for?
Exactly. That is very,
Very
very,
true.
true.
This serious.
No, seriously.
Yeah. Welcome aboard SDA1. Welcome to Chill and Spill. Welcome. Faith says the school system has not changed in over 100 years. Imagine that.
I mean,
But the thing is, not sorry to cut you, Zuz, but I've spoken to some children, and the way they teach nowadays, a lot of it is on iPads and, because I'm like, oh yeah, the blackboard, and they're like, blackboard?
It's not a
It's a
blackboard.
blackboard anymore. It's the whiteboard.
It's a whiteboard.
it's
a whiteboard.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. It's a whiteboard, but it seems like nothing much gets written on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
Everything is iPad, computers. All right, we're moving with the times, but sometimes, to me, with maths, you need to break down the maths. I feel like they need to work out things on the board more than giving them just the iPad and I'll just work it out.
But not even just that. If they are using the iPads more and using technology more, then who's really teaching our children? Is it not the technology teaching our children?
Talk the ting, talk the ting.
Exactly.
It's not the teachers teaching our children. It's technology. That's AI that's teaching our children.
Yeah, and this is why they...
Not actual teachers. And I feel like real proper teachers, big up all the teachers out there that love their job and actually have...
SDA1 is a teacher as well.
Okay.
Oh, SDA
big
one
up
the
yourself,
teacher. Oh,
SDA1,
fantastic.
fantastic. Big up all the teachers out there that still have a passion for their job and that actually get to know each individual child and their strengths. Because I feel like sometimes when, I remember being in school, I used to hate maths. English was my thing. Woo! Top grades. But maths, I just didn't get it. But when my teacher changed and he started teaching me in a different way, my maths increased, my grades increased. It's like he made maths fun for me because he had a passion for teaching, and because he had a passion for teaching, he put all his energy into making sure that I was taught what to do, but in different ways. He didn't necessarily teach me exactly how he was teaching the others. If I couldn't understand something, he would say, okay, let me put it to you in this way.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Not just, oh, well, I've said it this way, I've explained it to everyone else, and then that's it. Not every child is going to be able to receive that. And I feel like there's a lot of teachers out there that are not doing that. There's a lot of teachers out there that are just there for the money. And there are some teachers out there, big up yourselves
There's
again.
not much. I feel like it's rare to find a really
It is
passionate...
rare. It is rare.
And the thing is, I feel like the teachers these days are, they're probably... The reason why this gender change has been implemented is because a lot of them are going through it themselves, the teachers, why they feel like it's good for them to teach children about it. Because how come it's come up? It's at the forefront. How come? It has to be the teachers.
I'm going to the government again. I'm blaming them. Because
It's their fault.
It is because the curriculum that the teachers are forced to teach is directed through the Department of Education. And again, that comes from the government that we elect. I didn't vote for this lot, I'm just saying, yeah. So, but the curriculum is very structured. There's no room for movement. Where teachers attempt to be creative or try to engage with children, sometimes you'll get parents who will actually oppose that and will call that teacher out and make the school say, that's not part of the curriculum, so you can't teach that.
Yeah.
When it's actually adding value to their children in adding different cultures, different points of view, different methods of mathematics. Again, I can only comment from my own experience looking at the way like mathematics is taught in the West Indies as opposed to here, or even schooling in the West Indies and other cultures. I always remember from school, there were children who came and joined our class quite late from the West Indies.
Mm-hmm.
And when they joined, they were top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give them a year. They were like the SOE.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
yeah, it's
imagine.
true.
Yeah,
it's so
It's true.
true.
Just
It's
dumb them down.
Yes, because like you said, there's a lot of Caribbean countries that their education systems that they are way ahead of us. So I remember getting a one of the boys that joined our school, and he literally, it's like he didn't even need to study, like he just got everything on point because what we was learning at the time he learned when he was young.
That's right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like we're backwards in that sense. We're still learning things that we should have learned a long time ago. And even I feel like now, I don't know if they're still doing it now, but even being taught Shakespeare right now, I don't have a problem with it, but I just feel like there were other writers.
Definitely,
there
for
were
sure.
other poets.
Yeah,
There were
but where
other.
did Shakespeare come from?
Who know where him come from?
I got a feeling we're going to be told.
I don't know, but for me, there are certain. The curriculum is based on where you live,
Yeah, no, it's true.
and we live here, so they're going to focus on their culture. I remember learning the Industrial Revolution at school.
Okay.
Okay, but what they didn't tell me is that how the Industrial Revolution was funded,
Okay.
following the compensation from slavery. But I'm not going to go down that road. Do you understand?
No, that's very true.
Right, but you have to understand, and I always say, in any standpoint or in anything you're saying, you have to know your starting point or where you are in order to move forward.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of, no disrespect, it's my own personal opinion, I don't think a lot of people actually look at things from the origins. And people say, why are you going back so far? But if you don't understand that, how do you save yourself repeating the same cycle and
Exactly.
Over and over
situation?
again.
And I mentioned this. I feel like I mentioned this in the last show. I think it was the Black History show that we did.
Yeah.
And I said to my my teacher, why do we learn history? And he was saying, so we don't repeat the same mistakes. And I was like, so why are we not learning about Black history and not just why we're not getting taught about slavery, but not just slavery, but pre-slavery and stuff like that? Well, maybe Zeus, obviously he didn't call me Zeus, but maybe Zeus, you should do a presentation. He just passed the buck.
Yeah.
Now
You
he's
do
the
it then.
teacher.
Yeah.
He gets paid to do a job. That lets me know that he's not passionate about what he does. He's just here for the paycheck because he's had enough.
Yeah.
Because if he was a passionate teacher, he would say, you know what, I'm just going to take that into consideration
Exactly.
and see if our next class or our next lesson can be, I can teach around Black history and pre-slavery and
Yeah.
post-slavery. Do you get what I mean?
Well,
and see if he could talk to the board,
Exactly.
because obviously that there's a certain criteria you have to follow. There's a certain curriculum you have to follow. However, if he was so passionate, he would bring that to the board. He would say, you know what, my class is majority Black students.
Exactly.
And I would like them to also feel inclusive. We don't want to just learn about German history or Russian history or English history. We also want to learn about Black history.
Yeah, but it's not. We're straying off the topic just a little bit.
Yes, we
Sorry,
are.
that's probably my fault.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, Nubian.
Nad says, I think you should be at least 18 to make such a life-changing decision like gender selection. I also think now they are forcing children in school to learn or be aware of gender selection, and it may influence them. It is also a business opportunity and has essentially become a trend because they are forcing it in our faces so much. And I was going to ask, this is the question I wanted to ask
That's
both of
very
you,
true.
actually. If any of your children, if you have children, even the viewers, was to come home and say, look, I'm not happy with myself and I want to change my whole entire being, what would you say?
Well, I think my first question would be why. I would have to ask why. I need to try and get to where has this come from. I don't want to hear,
But
oh,
that
Jenny down
question-
the road or Thomas down the road, he gets to be or she gets to be who they want to be. I need to actually try and understand where my child is coming from at that point. Why do you feel like this? Do you get what I'm saying? If they say they don't know, I need to do a bit more digging. Because you must know deep within. Maybe you don't want to say it, but I have to understand why. Why do you feel like this? That's my starting point. But in my head, I'm going.
But the thing is, you never know. You saying why, that might the child might just break down right there and then and have a mental block, because this is the very reason why a lot of children don't address their parents, because of being judged, being
No, I understand.
yeah.
I understand where you get coming from, but I will be very as tactful as I can be as a parent.
Yeah.
And subtle and soft, and let them know that whatever you're feeling and whatever you're thinking, you can come and tell mummy. Mummy won't be upset. Do you get what I'm saying?
But even if you go through all that digging and it's come to that point where it still boils down to, this is what I want to do, then what? Are you going to disown your child? Are you going to embrace your child? What are you going to do?
I can't say what I would do because I've never been in that position.
No, I'm just saying.
But I
yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yes,
I'm
because
gonna
we have to
pray.
cover all areas. We have to cover all areas
I'm going to
of this.
meditate on that one.
Because
Because
if
ask
there-
for spiritual guidance, because I don't know what to do, Lord. Don't know what to do. Help me.
Christine says, being old school, I would say, stop your foolishness.
Yes, Christine, talk the thing.
And Nads said it will be a very hard pill to swallow.
Yes, I agree, Nads.
Yes, it would have to be. I don't know. I've got 3 sons and a daughter, and I don't. If and I've had this conversation, funnily enough, with not with my children, with a friend, about what would I do if I was asked, if this situation came about. And very much like Christine, my first response is, go in your bedroom and rest yourself. Yeah. But I also respect Susie's approach with regards to, yes, it has to be a bit of understanding, because there's an old school part of me, don't make me have to give you licks. But I understand now, I think children are more sensitive because they're exposed to so much more.
That's it.
Yes.
They've been shown the red button, or as the Matrix, you want the red pill or you want
Or
the blue pill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And because they've been given that choice, I now have to be able to navigate both pills. And I don't like pills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It's serious.
Right.
No,
So
sir.
I think I just got to I'd have to find that conversation. And you're right. Why have you been thinking that way?
Yeah.
How long have you been thinking that way?
Yeah.
What makes you feel that way? And hold on, I can say what I want in it. Okay, I'm just being honest, but do I need to hire somebody for you?
Yeah.
You get me? You
Yeah.
get me? Or
Yeah.
do I need to, whether it's therapy or whatever?
That's it.
But it's
Yeah.
about understanding, because even as an individual, if I don't understand something, I need to find some way or someone who does that can help me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But my first impression is like, Christine, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to remember that it's the society that we live in today. It's changed so much. As you know, you could be old school all you like, but at the end of the day, the children, especially if your children has phones and has access to social media, you know, whatever they're being taught is being shown as well on social media. So what is the problem if I decide to do so?
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's-
sticky one. Because
Yeah, it's very difficult. And you can't really, you know, you can't really say what you would do, because until you actually get into that position. That's just the honest truth of it. Even now, even me saying, oh yeah, you know, I would ask the child why and how they're feeling like that. Your initial, you know, you're a human. So that emotion could easily take over you. you could blurt out something like, like you said, what
Yeah.
you doing? Go
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah.
bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Stop with your foolishness.
Yeah.
And then you might have to bring it back and say, you know what, maybe mummy was wrong. How are you feeling? Do you get? You just
But
don't.
the
You
thing
just
is, it's
don't
very,
know.
it's a very, very sticky situation because the old school side of you may just lose that child mentally completely. They just shut down. They don't want to talk about nothing else after that because of your first reaction. Do you understand? So you've got that to think about as well. So you talk to them and then, you shout or whatever your reaction was. After that, they don't want to talk about it anymore. And then you're just out of the picture.
And there's where I go back to what I was saying before about the parents' influence, because there should be a point where, or I don't know, it hasn't come to me, but you would see it coming, or you'd have some indication,
One inkling.
Yes.
or you would feel that the child has, and this is where communication with your child is important, and not leaving it to the teachers and
Yes.
social media,
Yeah.
where you now, and you instill, I can only instill my values.
Yeah.
If your values once you become of age are different to mine,
Fair enough. Yeah.
that's fine. But I grew up, my mother, I won't even get into my mother.
Oh dear.
But the thing is,
We are
when it
serious.
comes, when it comes to children and and what decisions they make in their life, is it your personal beliefs that you're thinking about, or is it others?
I think it should be yours because, well, for me, it has to be mine. I bring up my children to my standards, to my beliefs, to
Yeah.
my understanding of the world. And I tell my children, I want you to be better than me.
Yes.
I will teach you everything I know. And if you learn everything I know at your younger age, you have every reason to be better than me and every tool at your disposal to improve yourself.
Yes.
That's my one thing I tell my children. I want you to think and be better than me. I'm going to tell you everything. What you now do with that, that's you as an individual. That's teaching you that life skill to take on everything that you see it, take it in, but make it yours
Yeah.
to
Yes.
your understanding of it.
Yes. And what you take from it. SDA 1 says our children have been exposed to too much, sometimes too early, and now parents have to respond appropriately to identify the source of these changes. It can be a hard pill to swallow.
And this is from a teacher.
And this is from a teacher. Nads also says social media is another big influence where we are expected to think this is the norm when actually it's not. Our ancestors would be so confused by all this. Laugh out loud. So
It's true. Faith says, well, these days they want to teach the 5-year-old sex education at schools. Why would they want to do that at such a young age? I understand the children now are more advanced than years ago, and children will ask questions like, where did the baby come from? Then the parents should address this sort of questioning at home.
That's right. The baby came from the stalk. The stalk came and delivered your baby brother or sister through the window.
okay.
That's where the baby come from. And
In
until
the little cloth.
in a little cloth with nappies and everything in the packet, that's
You
where the
see,
baby comes
this
from.
is where my conspiracy theory comes in to play now, because I feel like the reason why they want to teach our children about sex at such a young age is so they can so pedophilia is just now the norm. Like, it's okay to, like, the government can, it's always people in high places that are in these, paedophile rings and all these stuff. And do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a part of the government allowing certain things. So, if they do some marketing and it's of a child and the child's in a certain outfit, it's okay because we've taught the child sex education from a young age.
Yeah, no, I think that's it, because it's even worse, because you could even go back to the point of, and I don't go to church, but I think I'm a spiritual person. And my thing is, there are certain things that resonate. And if you think, and I know the Bible and there are 100 more gospels and everything that are not written in the current copy, but, when they did say children having children. It's just funny how you can implement how things can be translated, because children having children, they are telling our children about sex at an earlier age. They are exposing them to things that you don't need to know. You're lucky if when I was at school you get a little kiss chase or something, you know.
Oh my
A
gosh,
little
who
run
remembers
outs.
Kiss Chase?
You get me? Secondary school you used to get anyway, yeah. But you know, you just it was childlike. There
Yeah.
was
Yes.
no, well, for me,
It was
I was
innocent.
It was
Yeah,
innocent.
it
That's
Yeah,
the
really was.
perfect word.
it was innocent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas now, where they're exposed to so much, what are these children doing on school trips? What are they doing? You
Yeah,
don't know.
boy.
It makes you have to think.
Kent Chill. Mm-mm. We have Benson in the building. I feel like he has something to say. Welcome aboard, Benson. How are you?
Morning.
Good morning and good afternoon and good
Morning,
night.
morning, as he usually says, even when it's evening.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Fireworks. Yep.
It's
How are you?
like- Good evening to everybody. Good evening, good morning. I don't really feel 200 from Friday night show still, so I just got summer 1 and 2 and then I just go on easy cause I don't really feel 200. But one thing we must realize in society today that society has revolved or evolves in the sense that there are things that we weren't expecting a couple of years ago to be the norm, which it has become the norm now. And when I look at it, even to, as you mentioned before, timeline about the Bible, where the Bible say children will be having children, then that takes me back to that part of it where they said that the Bible was also adjusted from what was really written on the scroll. And we might be thinking in ourselves that they are not moving with the Bible, but all those things that are fulfilling now in the Bible, it's from the person who had take that information from the scroll, and it is a guideline that they have to follow. Now, another thing I have to say is, when it comes to government, we have to realize in ourselves that the government is voted by us, the people, and sometimes it is rigged because there's a protocol to follow, and who is brave enough to take up that challenge to follow the protocol and the guidelines that is given to the government. And when I say that, I'm going to explain this. There is no government party in the world that it is not funded by an organization.
Yes.
So that simple means if they are funded by an organization, don't you think they are taking rules and laws from whomsoever is funding them and giving them ideas?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we might see the government, to me, is just a picture frame that shows the face, but on the picture frame there's a back in it.
That's right.
So the back hold the picture in,
That's right.
but yet still you don't see the back, but it's very, very important, don't it? So that is, to me, how the government, they are just there for the front.
Yeah.
And they are taking rules and regulation from whomsoever is giving them rules and these guidelines. And I have no, like before, like years ago, we will, if we really look into this, we have to also think of it in another sense where we're going to look at it. Is it more dominant of black people putting up resistance about what is happening now?
That's right.
Is it more black people who are against this, what they are teaching in schools, the whole transition? And it reflects back to something that I was reading about a year ago. They were doing some experiment on frogs because in about 1940s they realized that frogs actually have that same pregnancy thing as women. Yeah, they are similar when it comes to the testing part of a woman being pregnant. Frogs also has that. Now, when I was reading this article, they gathered some frogs, right? And what they did was start to feed the frogs on food that we are eating now. And things that are in food that we are eating now. And to my surprise, the male frogs eventually turn gay because of what they were feeding the frogs. And those are the things that we are consuming in our bodies. But things like those, they won't let us know.
No way.
Right? So when some people are afraid to read certain information and look into things in a more deeper way. So when the frogs, what they did was get the frogs, all of them behave normal, right? All the male frogs behave normal, didn't want to have sex with the other male frogs and everything. As soon as they start run the test on food that we are eating now, they eventually want to hump the other male frogs.
Oh my goodness me.
You see, Benson, me and you could get on, you know.
So
Me and you could get on because. Sorry, let me let you finish.
yeah, so when that happens is information is there for us, you know, but it's what we want to indulge ourselves in and how deep we want to go. And the other thing is, we as parents, right? Most ladies are gifted and men to bring forth a child, may it be male or female. But not all persons that have a child is a real mother or a real father.
Amen.
Very true.
Because a lot of us in society today lack the fundamental principles. And when we look at the fundamental principles that we may see another person is lacking, is it the way that they have been taught from when they were young? Is it a racial thing where the rules as we as parents expect our child to be? Because it all goes down to, in a sense, maybe a racial thing. Because me, as black people, our expectation of our child is maybe different from other nations. I don't want to call any name or anything, but you may find some similarities that has the same aspirations as us as black people have. And then you will say, yes, that is a well-disciplined child. Because if you notice, have you ever been observant when you're in the park and you will watch the behavior of the kids and see how they behave? And then when other races do something, the black people will say, don't do that, don't do that. Other nation will just say, they're having fun. So all these things has to do with how we have been brought up.
Foundation.
The foundation. And how we view things. Now, Lady Christine mentioned a child. I'm so happy that you guys give me the opportunity to take the floor now, because I don't think I'll be saying anything else. And then sometimes when I go inside of my brain and I come out back, it's hard for me to go there. She mentioned earlier about a child who is going to school and the child is being laughed at or whatever it is. Now, we have to take this now into consideration that the time has changed wherein we have to accept people for whom they are, who they want to be, right? And that is up on the child's parents to deal with that. Because you know already, when you're different in society, you will be ridiculed. And not saying that child should be ridiculed, but the parents now should make sure that when they're sending that boy to school in a skirt or whatever it is, this is what is going to happen. Right? So what happens after that is upon that child parents to deal with it. I'm so sorry, because remember, we used to get laughed at school, just by our shoe. And who had to face the consequences? We did. So it's up for them to, if they want to put their child through it, who am I to go and tell them not to do so? And let us be fair, it's just like gays. We grew up in Jamaica, and back in the days, if somebody is gay in Jamaica years ago, which is, you wouldn't even want to say hello to them. Until I had a discussion one time at a meeting with a police who was gay. And that changed my whole thinking of gay, because it's the first time I've ever had a conversation with a gay person.
Back then.
Right?
Right.
And when I had the conversation with him on his lifestyle, I get to realize that it was an eye-opener. Because what I realize is that with gays, with my experience with gays, not being in the act or anything, but conversational wise, it's like they are so thoughtful to me. Because a gay man to me, their mindset is like a caring lady.
Yes, they're like women, a lot of them.
And that changed my whole process to say, look, you do what you want to do, and we can still say hello. What you want to do, that's your business.
Yeah, in your personal,
That has nothing to do with me. And now, in society, when you travel a lot and interact with a lot of persons, you get to accept that person for whom they are. But you also have your barriers and your boundaries.
That's just your beliefs and your preferences.
Exactly. So with what we might think the government is doing now, it's something that was written from time. And then we speak about the movies that the kids watch, the cartoons. But yet still we will speak about it, and disagree with what is going on in society. But if we should be fair with ourselves, we still allow our kids to watch them. Which one of us now, with one of the cartoons some of the cartoons are demonic, point blank.
Yeah.
But we as parents, we still allow our kids to watch it because those are the ones that they like. I pick and choose. Some people pick and choose.
Oh, that's the ones that you used to watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the old school
No,
ones.
they don't.
It's definitely a pick and choosing thing for me, boy.
But remember, when I was growing up, I didn't have much cartoons. More than Tom and Jerry, RoboCop, and what's the other one? We didn't have that much cartoons. No, remember, cartoon nowadays, in this time, is a money-making thing. When you look at so many cartoons, look how we can go back now for some people who are aware to know how influential those cartoons are. Yeah. Remember, before 9/11, it was in a cartoon.
Yeah, it was in The Simpsons.
Yeah, it was in Simpsons.
Yeah.
And how many things that The Simpsons had revealed before it happened.
Yep.
The
Many
lockdown
things.
was
spoken about.
So how would they come up on it?
How will
So
they
we-
know? How can
all
they
right.
predict that?
Yeah, so we have to be aware of the fact that of things that a lot of parents don't have the time to do their investigation on what the kids are watching. And then when the kids do come up with that feeling or waiver, we are wondering what. But it goes back to same thing with the frog. Because the first testing of the frog was done in 1940s to find out that the pregnancy that they go through is similar to women. And then they took it another step further when technology advances
Yeah, with the food.
to realize with the food that they are eating allow them to become gays. So we know in society now might say this child wanna change to be that or whatever it is. And who you're to blame?
So I get what you're saying. So it's like we have to look at the root of what are our children looking at? What is being
have to monitor
fed
them.
to them in their brains, and it
With-
was like
With
what
social media and with food.
yeah, and it was like what you was also saying, the timekeeper, you know, they're trying to mold
Yes.
the children's minds into certain things. It all correlates to what both of you are saying.
And it's something that that Benson said that I want to just grab on with regards to the frogs, because I've had the conversation with regards to sexual orientation. Is it genetic or society driven? And a lot of things, what you said about the frog resonated with me only because I believe they don't fully understand when they're doing all this genetically modified food and they're making it this way because it's cheaper. I don't really think they fully understand the impact on human genetics. And I think they have an inkling of it. Because I think what they are shaping us for, and this isn't no disparity, as I said, everyone does their own thing. But I think they are preparing for the fact that they know. They know. And what they are doing is preparing law to allow. Because if you're saying that from the frogs, they understood how the food we eat influences our genetic makeup. When that actually does break, you know what, you lot knew, like when they're talking about these vapes,
Right.
how do the vapes influence us later on? Yes, we don't get as much nicotine as from the cigarette, but how does that influence not me, but not my child, not my grandchild, my great grandchild? How does that genetically change us? Our environment changes us, not only mentally but physically. We evolve. How many hundreds of years have passed? And as a species, we adapt to the society around us and to the environment, and they are shaping that environment. And what you say about the food, they've known about that ages ago. Look at from digressing just a second, like world wars, where they've used torture through music, so they'll just blare the enemy with noise so that they don't. It makes them mad because they know that sleep deprivation has an adverse effect on human beings. So now, if you now know that, and that's why they call it television. Thank you for watching, by the way. This is not a lie. This is
Oh
the
dear.
truth.
This serious.
But television, because it is. You don't think that they've run enough tests to
This ain't a lie,
understand-
guys. This ain't a lie. This is why
This
we
is
do-
reality.
This is why we have the show Chill and Spills.
Live.
Right. So
That's
we don't.
right.
We're trying
Live and
to
direct.
express and talk about everything that's going on and address everything. And not,
Honestly, yes.
yeah, don't push it underneath the carpet. It needs to be addressed, and we need to be vocal, and
And I think that
look at both
definitely-
sides of everything.
And there you go. It's accepting everybody, but you have to, as I said, I've always said it, understand where things are coming from. Because unless you understand where it's coming from, you can't move forward. You can't find a plan to get out of it. And that's why, as I said, 21-second digress, that's why they don't teach full black history.
That's right.
But we won't go no further on that one, I don't.
Can we address the viewers and what they've
Yes.
said, please?
So, Christine says, "Well, I stand by what I say. You can be whatever or whatever you want to be, but not in my house. That's my opinion." FaZe also agreed to Nads what she said earlier. SDA1 said, as a teacher, we are not permitted to dissuade children from expressing their thoughts, whether misconstrued or confused. We are encouraged to demonstrate non-bias and allow that individual to be themselves. Faye also says, I hear you, SDA1. Faye also agrees with what Benson said, and so does SDA1 agree with what Benson says. Faye also says, yes, I agree that whatever an adult wants to be, that's fine with me. It's the children I have a problem with. Making such a big decision, like changing their gender at 14 or 7, I don't agree with this.
I agree with Faye.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're old enough to be making those types of decisions.
Exactly. Charlene says, in sex education, other countries that teach it earlier have lower child pregnancy rates. Okay, interesting. And she also says, but we say, good evening, Charlene, sorry.
Good
evening and
evening.
welcome to Chill and Spill. I'm sorry about that. I saw the comments earlier and I just wanted to get into it, but I apologize for that. Charlene says, but we say Kiss Chase is innocent, but it's all rooted from curiosity and sensuality. Not having the conversation from early doesn't prevent, it just dies. Teach all areas of development.
I think was that supposed to be that being said?
That being said,
Happen, not educating is mismanagement.
mismanagement.
So that being said, not educating is mismanagement.
I agree with
mismanagement.
that. You have to educate, but there's a point at which you educate. I think children, dependent on their age, and unfortunately, we've moved to a point where maybe it does have to be younger because of the exposure to social media.
Yes.
But that, for me, is a failing of the system because social media has been allowed to expand because it's about making money
Yes.
without any guidelines that structure it.
Yes, absolutely.
And Charlene also says, and allows for exploiting and abuse. Another in my generation experience being molested, which was put down to mere naughtiness or inappropriate shame rather than calling it what it was.
Yes.
Wow, powerful stuff.
Yeah.
But Newbin, like you mentioned earlier on, or I'm not sure was it you that about the amount of government officials, people in influential positions
Yeah,
who have
yeah.
been caught in these
Yeah,
positions,
that was me.
and it's been exposed that they've either been molesting or
Yeah.
been acting inappropriately to various people.
And she also said good evening. Excuse her manners.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
But another thing that we have to realize in society, if you're on social media, right,
Right?
Yeah.
and you have a lot of viewers, and you know too much about the system and what is happening, may God help you. You're going to prison.
You're going down.
Or you're getting, or your
if-
account's getting locked off.
Yeah. If you're too educated, not even educated, but if you know too much about what is going on, you're in trouble. So you have to take that into consideration. The other thing that has been bothering my mind from the other day is where the food regulations are, right? In England. Every day they speak about obesity and the food that kids consume, don't it?
Right?
But why they still allow products on the market that have been genetically modified to still be there?
And still serve it in the schools.
Yeah.
Because it's
'Cause
a
it's
money
cheaper.
maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than
It's
the
cheap,
original.
but that is what to show you that it's like we're being blindfolded. We're being blindfolded by the fact that, look, the apple is there, the bananas are there, but it's still on the market. But yet still, you will know that after eating the bananas for a certain period of time and the apples, when you do wash the apples, it's just like the other day I was doing some research on raspberries, and when you put the raspberries in, I think it's what vinegar like or whatever it is, what
Yeah.
comes out of it and all that, and with the apples, with the glue on the apples and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, the wax.
wax.
The
The
wax,
wax,
that's
the-
around the apples, yeah.
and the cheese, just like the cheese, but it's still there. So all of these things that is happening, we're looking on, but we're not seeing.
I think they put it. It's like you said. They put it in our face. It's on the shelves.
Yeah.
They make it seem like, oh, it's your choice whether you want to buy it or
Yeah.
not. However, like what
But it's the
keeping
same-
the timekeeper, says
Yeah.
it's the television. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
advert that goes with that same product.
Well, funny
they make
enough,
it seem like, oh yeah.
yeah, funny
So-
enough, it doesn't matter what. Sorry to cut you, Benson, but me personally, it doesn't matter what you do to the fruit. You can soak it in vinegar. You can do what you like. It will still itch my mouth, and I can't eat it.
So it's like with the kids now. I don't agree with it, and that's why when sometimes when a lot of people, there's one president that I listen to more time, yeah,
Who's that?
and Mr. Talk the Truth, Mr. Trump.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
No, sir. No,
No, when you even, because he touched these topics, because he's one of the men who will say certain things that nobody else will say as president. You understand? For persons in the position that will say certain things. But this is how we are in society. Or we are even blindfolded by the fact that when he says these sort of things, but yet still, on the other hand, people will disagree. You understand? So now, when a child say they want to have a sex change, how we as parents should accept that, and what does that does for that child. Another thing we have to look at. Look at that African athlete, right? Who was running with the women, but yet still, she came under so many pressure, right? So many pressure, so many investigations as to how her hormones is.
I
You-
remember.
you-
I
you-
remember
you
that.
s- Yeah.
Yeah, they put a lot of pressure on her because they felt like she had a
Male
lot of
hormone.
masculine, not even masculine energy, but masculine hormones, and she had an advantage. And instead of them just saying, you know what, that's just her makeup, that's just her genetics, and
Alright.
she has strength,
What
and she's just a strong woman.
so what is her color?
She's black.
But they don't accepting her for competing in the woman's race, right?
Yeah.
But they accept somebody who want to go and do a sex change, don't it?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Make it make sense.
Yep.
Don't it?
You see, don't open that door, Benson. Don't open that door. I'm just saying. We'll be here all night. We'll be here all night.
This serious. This
know, so-
serious.
Yes, exactly. It's a deep one. And on that note, we're rounding up the show now because it's a very, very deep topic. Thank
Sensitive
you,
as
and
well.
it's very sensitive. Those that are going through it, we're not judging anybody. We hope that
Peace be with you.
yeah, peace be with you, and you just take your time with the situation. Always think first before you speak. It's very, very important. Yes, because we have to remember that we are dealing with children. Yeah, we are the adults, so we've been through things, and we've got our old school traditions that we like to go by. But these are children that we are dealing with, So if they are going through something, just take your time with them and don't pressure them. And make them talk to you, when they want to. If you see certain patterns, you see certain things going on, yeah, you just monitor it. Everyone's got intuition.
Yes, I have to just agree with that, because when you know your child, you see the changes. So maybe if you're not seeing the changes, maybe take a little time to spend a little bit more with your child. Maybe you're doing too much to not see the changes within your child.
100%.
Yes.
It's that influence of the parents, and you have to understand that when every son and daughter wants to be like their mummy and daddy,
Yes,
because their parents are their first superheroes.
that's right.
You get them, as I said, I'm not even gonna lie. Father Christmas don't live in my house. I'm the one climbing down.
Oh dear.
I don't even climb down the chimney. My children like,
We are
Father,
say.
is Father Christmas gonna bring me my presents? No, Daddy went to work and go bring the money home.
No, I hear that.
Yeah. So you have to set certain, and they will follow that lead, and through that, they then learn. Well, I want to be like Daddy. I want to be like Mummy, because Mummy goes out to work and does things. And yes, unfortunately, we all have to work. Unless
Yes.
you win the lottery or you're born in a certain fortunate situation, we have to work. And these are the skills that we need to teach our children, because they need to see not the social media influencers and the models and the rap stars
And that
as
lifestyle,
their hero.
yeah.
That's not their heroes. Their parent who goes out to work is their hero. The person who puts the roof over their head needs to be their first hero, because that's, for me, is the first step to setting them on a path. And I'm not just on a path of the right direction. You need to do what you need to do. It's not about, I'm not trying to set your sexual orientation. I'm not trying to set that. I'm just trying to show you the core things that you need to do
That's
to be a
right.
human being.
That's it.
And I'll accept you after a nice conversation on whatever you want to do in your career, in your life, and life is every aspect of life.
That's
and once
it.
you're having those conversations with your children, I feel it will influence them. You can't stop them doing what they want to do, but if you influence them, and that's my job as a parent, I feel, is to influence my children through my culture, through my understanding. And then, as I said, I live here in England, what can I do? It's the culture.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you have to bear in mind the society we live in. And I know you, Nuben's trying to round up, but I'm getting my little flow now, But
Welcome aboard, Daniel Smith. Welcome to Chill and Spill.
but 100%, we need to embrace it, because a lot of other cultures, Benson mentioned about the black culture and how certain things impact us, but you see it through other cultures, the Asian, Oriental cultures. They are also being more. I recall growing up, those cultures were very to themselves more so.
Strict, yeah.
Very strict.
Very strict.
The children were so they did their homework first thing. They were top of the class. I know I'm generalizing a little bit, but they had they were very structured. I see that shift, and I think as black people, we went through that shift a lot earlier, because we've been here maybe a little longer in how we've tried to adapt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, on that note, thank you all for tuning in. I'm just going to check all platforms first, which I've done. But we're just going to round up the show. And for those that's tuned in quite late, if I haven't seen you, then I apologize. But thank you for tuning in each and every Sunday for this hot topic. Thank you, the timekeeper, for joining our panel and sharing his views. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Zuz and Benson. Oh, yes.
And most certainly, while I'm here as well, and I'd like to thank Chill and Spill for inviting me down. It has been a pleasure. I was a little nervous, I won't even lie.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous coming down. I'm like, hold on. How is it
What's
gonna
this
be?
about?
What's this about? But it's been so welcoming. I felt so comfortable coming on here and being able to discuss in an open forum. So thank you both. Thank you
You're
all.
welcome.
Ah,
Thank you very much. And for all those that like a nice little shake your foot, fling a dance on the 18th of November. I myself, the timekeeper, and the A-lister will be having a dance down there in South Croydon, where there is a plush film studio that has been converted for your raving pleasure. With VIP area with the top DJs from London and Liverpool. So we are bringing the link from all over the place, from DJ Cool Guy and DJ Tizzle from Liverpool to London's finest from Studio Express, Special Touch, D-Mac, Swaby Irie, Touch T, James Kiss Me Teeth Lang, and myself, the timekeeper and the A-lister, of course, and controlling the mic better than I can. You have the one like Stally Magic, S. Campbell, and the one and only MC Marvelous. So listen, go to Eventbrite. The dance is called So Seductive, Sexy in Black. Make yourself available. Remember me tell you that.
we
Well,
can't
thank you
wait.
for that. Whoop-tee-doop boop. And I hope I'm in the VIP section for that one.
I'll sort,
you
I'll
already
sort you
know.
out. I'll sort you out. I'll sort you out.
You know we're gonna be
Yeah.
the VIP.
All right, guys. If you can't be good, be careful. Don't forget to tune in each and every Friday, 11 o'clock GMT, for Benson's show. You know it's going to be pure entertainment. If you missed Friday's show, boy, I
Wicked
don't
show.
know. It was an absolute
Wicked show.
shut down. He shut it down for nearly 4 hours. So if you missed that show, I'm sorry. But make sure you don't miss the next show, which is Friday coming, 11 o'clock GMT. You should get a notification once you're following. Remember to like, share, and follow all platforms where you will get that notification once we are live. Remember, we are not
Subscribe.
pre-recorded, This is not pre-recorded. This is live stuff.
Yep.
This is live. Yeah, no editing going on it. So, yeah, if you can't be good, be careful. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. Bye.
Manners.
Bye.